I was about 13 or 14 when I had to get my wisdom teeth taken out. Although they were a little uncomfortable, they had fully come in, so removing them wasn't too bad. My dentist just numbed my jaw and would use like a special screwdriver and then pop them out. Before the local anesthetic wore off a couple hours later, though, my chin started to itch. I reached up to scratch it and was surprised when I couldn't feel anything, absolutely nothing. So I scratched my chin again and got nothing, but my chin was still itching. Because my senses were dulled by the anesthetic, my chin just simply couldn't register the scratching, and so the itch, which began to be painful after a while, persisted. Dulled and desensitized, I had no means of addressing the problem. In a much more serious way, far too many people live dulled and desensitized by sin. Paul puts this pretty graphically in his letter to the churches in Ephesus, one of the largest cities in the Roman Empire. He warns the believers, "You must no longer live as the Gentiles do in the futility of their thinking. They are darkened in their understanding and separated from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them due to the hardening of their hearts. Having lost all sensitivity, they have given themselves over to sensuality and are greedy to indulge in every kind of impurity." I think Paul's insight into sin here is absolutely spot on. One of the true signs of depravity is when your efforts to save yourself result in your own self-destruction, when your antidote is actually poison. We become increasingly infected with the spiritual disease of sin as we are continually conformed to the world's twisted and corrupted ways of thinking. Paul puts it like this in another letter he sent to believers in Rome. "I appeal to you, therefore, brothers and sisters, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your reasonable worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." The remedy for being conformed to the world's corruption and perversion is for our minds to be transformed by a new way of thinking and understanding everything and everyone around us. Instead of being greedy to objectify others and serve our own passions, or to dehumanize others by treating them as stepping stones to bigger and better things for ourselves, what Paul alludes to in Ephesians 4. The kinds of activities that generate the spiritual renewal Paul urges us to experience run directly counter to the grotesque and destructive ways of the world. Paul winds down another letter to his friends in Philippi with these words: "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, continually think about such things." By doing these things, we gradually open ourselves up to the work of the Holy Spirit. And our capacity not only to think about whatever is true and honorable, but also to do whatever is true and honorable will continually increase. Now is the time for being transformed by what is true and honorable and just and pure. Now is the time for us to be filled with what is lovely and admirable, excellent and praiseworthy, so we can partner with God to bring those things into the world.